At the beginning of chapter 12 of The Unity of Philosophical Experience, Gilson gives us his view of the history of philosophy. Philosophers and doctrines, he says, are ruled from above by an impersonal necessity, and this in two ways. First, philosophers are free, he says, to choose any principles they like, but once they have chosen their principles and articulated them, they must reason within the boundaries that those principles set out. The second way in which they are limited is that any attempt by a philosopher to resist or escape from the necessary consequences of his first principles is always doomed to failure. Even if he is able to escape these results himself, his followers will draw them out of his principles eventually. Gilson then defines the history of philosophy as the study of concepts and relations in light of that impersonal necessity. On the next few pages, Gilson analyzes various historicist attempts to eliminate philosophy by explaining it in terms of other factors. He says that political, social, biological, and economic reductionism are all incompatible with the observed diversity of thought that we see in the history of philosophy. The ultimate explanation for the history of philosophy, he writes, must be philosophy itself. The modern period especially has seen repeated instances of the death of philosophy being foretold, followed shortly after by philosophy's revival. And so Gilson concludes with his first law deduced from the history of philosophy, namely that philosophy always buries its undertakers. He then turns to the question of metaphysics. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.